I didn't know the stream would stop. If I had known that, I wouldn't have done it this way. I apologize. Just waiting to see if everybody else comes back on. Hopefully, it'll be momentary. I apologize for quitting the game. I didn't think the stream would end the way it did, so that's on me. I'll have to bear that in mind for the future. Not to quit the game while I'm streaming. So picking up where we left off, we were in OKB0, set up offline, and quit the game, restart the game, connect to the server before the menus come up, and then that should reset everything in terms of getting our development clock back on schedule. A viewer had a problem with that, so we disconnected, saved the game, restarted, reconnected, and that should get it to work. And the game will deposit us right back in front of OKB0, where we hit our last checkpoint. Okay. So go back to the ACC, and that's how you can reset your development clock to make sure it continues. I hope it works. Okay. Like I said earlier, I think it looks fine the way it is. It just looks kind of flat. The colors are kind of flat to me. It just doesn't... It doesn't look right to me visually. I mean, it's a good... it's a good styling of the suit and how it works and everything else. But I don't think they got it right, in my opinion. So I think the boss's suit was more white than gray, and they have more gray in here. At least that's what I remember. I did. If you start this stream from the beginning, it'll show you the terms of use screen, and I spent about 4 minutes with that screen active. I accepted the terms and then started the game, and that should restart your development clock. Okay, it's Ponytail Girls Night, so where am I? So, you know, you can scrub backwards to the beginning of this stream and see what I do when I accept the terms. So, again, I apologize for having the existing stream cut out. I didn't know that was going to happen. I figured it would be okay, but it wasn't, so I'll keep that in mind for the future. Not to quit the game while I'm broadcasting, so. Naked base. It's not the first time I've been on a naked base. The naked bases can be both liberating and confining at the same time. So just gotta go out there and do the best you can, and whatever happens, happens. But it's long range, so we know where the gaps are. And that guy is part of the problem. I have a female on my alternate account. She also has an S in Intel and is a low grade in combat. Her bonus rating is 1.75, and I kept her because I wanted a low rank female with an S in. Well, that's a matter of debate, okay? It depends on your play style. It depends on if you want to, how you're going to replenish those resources. Now, personally, for myself, it's too much. I'm not a killer, and I don't really need any more than what the grade 5 Serval gives me. Okay, but if you're a killer, the extra power that you get is substantial from a regular grade 7 you know, sniper rifle or whatever. But bear in mind, the more fuel you use, that means you'll be hitting support platforms quite a bit to restock. All zeros.
Infiltration successful.
I mean, if your default loadout for PvP is using something like that, then you'll be doing base development and support to make up your fuel losses, or combat. You know, you're not going to get enough from base development or combat to offset your losses in fuel resources. Not to mention medical, which is you get nothing for metal resources. Yes, Leo, I ate beforehand. I'm actually kind of hungry, but I already ate. I had a full dinner, so can't eat anymore. So grade 11. Okay. Well, you're using minor metal and biological. I would say yes, because you can recover resources, minor metal and biological, better in one run on base development than you can fuel and minor metal in one run. Okay, on the grade 11 you'd be doing a lot more support platforms to fill up your fuel, but on the grade 10 you can cover most of what you spend on one high level base development, because it's using minor metal, which is what is given out for base development. Now the grade 9, if you look at it here, it uses fuel and digitalis lutea, which is off the charts in terms of you'll be doing a lot of medical platforms to make up that plant resource, and I personally hate medical because it's so constricted. You know, I use the grade 8 Bambatov with its modest resources. Okay, this is my go-to for defense. Okay, I don't spend a lot for my assault rifle or for my sniper rifle. Besides, when you really think about it, if you're hitting someone in the head, it's not going to matter what grade weapon you use. Okay? Yeah, killers love to play medical. They love base development. I don't see a lot of PvP on support, because that single entry point to the core area is a huge bottleneck. It's harder for people to do that. I've done it. I've defended people in support, but it's hard. You know, because that restriction works both ways, both against the attacker and against the defender. So, you know, if I were to choose, I would say stick with the grade 10, because the grade 11 power increase, you know, is, I mean, really, if you're using FOB dispatch, you know, you're already cutting what you need down anyways. So I would probably stick with the grade 10 because it's easier to replenish resources. How are you, Nelson? Good to see you. You know, like for example, I would love to use the grade 8 Brennan because it looks good and I can customize it and it can knock pretty much any UAV out of the sky. But it's 90,000, 94,450, so 95,000 GMP for a weapon that I would shoot once or twice. So level threat reach to 50 or 60. Okay. You need to develop grade 7 equipment for your guards. The more you see these weapon names that are outlined in green. Anything that's outlined that's marked in green will increase your security level. So the higher your sniper rifle, your shotguns, okay, and your assault rifle. Okay, that's a grade 7. Okay, and then your your mines, your hand grenades, stun grenades, all of those have to be developed to at least grade 7. And then you have the security devices, as John says, and your machine gun, yes. Okay, get your laser gates up to grade 7 with three sensors. The anti-theft devices, your cameras, and your drones. So everything has to get to grade 7 at a minimum to get to high 50s. Level 60 is, you have to do a little more for that for level 60. Also, your battle dress that you wear that the guards wear has to be upgraded to at least level 7. And that's the battle dress. So you have a lot of grinding to go. So yeah, by the time you get to grade 7 battle dress, you'll have, most likely, have 1 camera and 4 mines to use to custom place. Once you put that on there, your security level will increase. So the more items in green that you develop, the higher your security level will go. That's how that works. Okay. So that's how that works. Special zeros. Let's see what we can do here.
Successfully sneak your way into the heart of the rival PF's FOV. You can capture staff from them. I'll be looking forward to meeting the new recruits, boss.
10 minutes.
Be careful down there, boss.
see what we can see. Wow, that's ugly. No! That was not what I wanted. Oh, even worse. Bitches. Didn't want that. That's a cool visual. I should have brought my grade 8. I'm doing okay. Today was a rest day. No adventures. Oh, you shit! You pissed me off.
You got it. Try a little harder next time.
I'll have to come back to that later. Get my revenge. That was shitty. Oh shit. Nuke defense. I don't have time. I don't have time to fix my uniform. I don't have time. And of course you can't extract nukes anymore. So I have to stop this guy before he can get to the core, the core platform. So the whole thing is different now. It's harder.
There's one intruder. Their objective is unclear, but if they make it to the heart of the FOB, they'll capture staff from it. You've got to make sure that... Victory is ours.
There you go, Mooney. It's all for you, buddy. All for you. That was good. My first successful defense of the year. That was good. Moonscar and I go back a long ways. I've helped him with some things. He's helped me with other things. I've practiced on his base. So, he's a good friend of mine. Happy to cover him for that. And he likes his nukes. So, that's the second time I've defended his nukes against somebody else. I had a guy who had a grade 10 wormhole. And he was hard to take out, but I took him out. So, of course, with the grade 11 wormhole and the grade 12, eventually, I think nuke owners are going to have to rethink their layouts. Because if you have a determined attacker who really wants those nukes, you know, they're going to run for it and may use the grade 11 wormhole, you know, as an equalizer. I wouldn't, but, you know, some other people might. You never know. So I shot that guy in the head with my grade 8 Bambatov. You know, would the grade 10 MRS 71 have helped me with that? No. And I've gotten some lucky headshots on intruders. So it doesn't really matter what you use, because it's a lucky headshot.
You can capture staff from them. I'll be looking forward to meeting the new recruits, boss.
Now, of course, if you're a killer and you use FOB dispatch, that extra power the grade 10 gives you, or the grade 11 gives you, is in your favor because you lower their defenses. And you have the extra kick that comes with a grade 10, grade 11 or grade 10 or whatever. You know, could I do an FOB dispatch on a grade 6 equipment against a grade 8 rifle? I could. It'd take a lot longer, but I don't. You know, if I were to do a killing thing like that, I would be with the grade 10, because the grade 10's resources are easier to recover on this very platform I'm on right now. See, you know, before I maxed out my precious metals, I used the Mizra, and that's a grotesquely expensive weapon for precious metals. 2,900 units per deployment, but it kills people like there's no tomorrow. I've got some good players with that thing. Yeah. I have a friend of mine, one of my people that I work with at in my job. She and her husband went to Buenos Aires for their honeymoon a few years back. She said they had a good time. She used to work in the music industry. Nice lady. I like her very much. But that's where they went for their honeymoon, was Buenos Aires. So the grade 10 MRS 71 uses the minor metal and biological, whereas the grade 11 uses fuel. So you'd be doing more support than base development to recover your losses. You know, if you're a nitpicker like me, that's just a point in the grade 10's favor, because I don't like to use my resources extravagantly. I'm faster than you. Hurry up! Shitbag. Tired of you. You know what? Take that. Clowns. People get on my nerves. So, you know, I tried to minimize my resources, or rather, manage my resources more efficiently than others. That's why for a long time I didn't use the grade 5 stun grenades, because they use precious metals. Which, as it turns out, is probably really short-sighted on my part, because those are super handy. But, you know, after maxing out my precious metals, I can afford it now. So I can afford that expense. So, yeah, but the Mizra was an incredible weapon, because it could take out people behind walls or behind obstacles. I mean, it had splash damage, it had power, it was fast to reload. The only problem was that it was so expensive. 2,900 precious metal, plus I think it's 3,000, 2,500 minor common metal as well. So I'd have to do a R&D and then combat. Maintenance starts at roughly an hour from now. Hour and a half maybe. So 2940 precious metal, 2790 common metal. But I've got some big names etched onto that thing. If you have the resources for it, develop it and use it, because it's really good. And it chews up ghosters like there's no tomorrow. So that's always a good thing. Stop a sneaker in his tracks, because all they have is their fatigues and nothing else. Killers are harder, but then again, killers are harder anyways, just because the nature of their business is to make life difficult for you. Okay. Shotguns. I could do shotguns. Okay. The same principle applies for yes, it is. The same principle applies for the grade 7 sleep grenades. They're one of the best weapons you have against lethal guards, but they are expensive. 40,000 GMP, 479 African Peach, 79 Haoma. Every time you deploy those, you know, it can chew up your plant supplies. So you're making side trips to medical every so often. You know, and if you're like me, who doesn't like working on medical, then you find a workaround.
Be careful down there, boss.
All units, special alert. Defend your position. Out.
This abandoned base is just for the end.
Hey.
Now, of course, because I was using the grade 7 sleep grenades, I did more medical runs than I'm comfortable with,
All units, stay on
and I
guard.
earned quite a few
Out.
medical staff in the process.
All units,
So there was a benefit to it, but I've never liked running on intel or running on medical.
this is CP. Understood. Find the enemy sniper and take him out. Out.
Take them out. Ow, ow. Stop repeating yourself, CP. So I developed my own workaround, and I used the grade 5s. And I just had to know where to throw them, Tom Brady style.
All fire teams, this is CP.
UAV's picked up a man in trouble. Nearest unit, go investigate.
And it works.
Infiltration successful.
You know, on high level bases, yeah, I'll use them. But generally, I'll tend to stay away from those. Not too bad. So I look at it as a sense of balancing what it takes to replenish as opposed to what I'm spending. Hey John, how are you? Okay. Again, same principle. The grade 9 wormhole generator. 1100 precious metal and 700 and change golden crescent. With that much golden crescent going out the door every time I used it. Happy New Year to you, buddy. How are you? I had to do intel platforms, which, as I've said before, I just not a fan of. It's not my thing. I don't like it. And when the grade 10 came in, it was cheaper because I'm using common metal and minor metal. Big difference. As opposed to precious metal and golden crescent. So it's a no-brainer. I'll use the grade 10 wormhole. You guys want to make fun of me for that? That's fine. Okay. Grade 7. Okay, we're going to do something really different here. I didn't use FOB dispatch, so... Let's go big. Okay. Oh, and the wormhole. Decoys and... Okay. Why not, since we're going whole hog. Okay. They don't have any resources, so this base is essentially abandoned. I don't play this way. I've only watched people play this way, so take it easy with the criticism.
Successfully sneak your way into the heart of the rival PF's FOB, and you can capture staff from them. I'll be looking forward to meeting the new recruits, boss.
18 minutes.
Be careful down there, boss.
All units, special alert. Defend your positions. Out.
All fire teams, this is CP.
We lost the security camp. There's no reason for it to be down. Whoever's closest, go check it out.
All fire teams, this is CP.
We lost the security camp. There's no reason for it to be down. Whoever's closest, go check it out. CP, this is Zulu 7. Under attack. No sign of the enemy. Over. This is CP. Understood. Stay alert and smoke out the enemy. Out. All units, special alert. Defend your positions. Out.
All fire teams, this is CP.
We lost the security camp. There's no reason for it to be down. Whoever's closest, go check it out.
Yeah.
CP, this is Delta 4. We'll investigate ASAP. Out.
All fire teams, this is CP.
UAV's picked up a man in trouble. Nearest unit, go investigate.
All fire teams, this is CP.
We lost the security camp. There's no reason for it to be down. Whoever's closest, go check it out. All units, special alert. Defend your positions. Out.
All fire teams, this is CP.
We lost the security camp. There's no reason for it to be down. Whoever's closest, go check it out. CP, this is Delta 1. Investigating now. Out. All units, special alert. Defend your positions. Out.
All fire teams, this is CP.
We lost the security camp.
Oh, you shit. Really?
To be down. Whoever's closest, go check it out.
shot me? Yeah. Yeah, I know. Of course, I'm doing it at daytime too, so I can't see very well where they are. Nope. It's a dead base. Eh.
All fire teams, this is CP.
We have a situation. All units on alert.
Infiltration successful.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
So not nearly enough in terms of precious metals, since I spent 3,600. But I got my common metal, minor metal. You know, I'm balancing my deployment costs against rewards.
Boss, the rival PF knows who
So,
we are. Better step up FOB security in case they retaliate.
that was kind of fun. It would have been better if it had been security challenge. I need to go to the animal conservatory for a while. What did I get out of that? I don't know where those guys came from. rescue some children. Yeah. Do that one more time, but on security challenge. Hopefully. So I was following basically the same template, I guess, that I see, you know, on other people's streams. Since I don't do it that way, I'm, you know, I was ad-libbing. Really? Visit some animals, save some kids. That kind of stuff. Kept it 16. I helped. I mean, but that guy's base was empty. You know, he's long since abandoned the game. So technically it's not a big deal. But again, I don't like to play that way very often. You know. And like I said, I was emulating players that I've seen on stream. So I was ad-libbing as I went. I didn't have a real plan. Do I want it? Oh. No, that's not my thing. They play their way, and there's nothing wrong with the way they play. And I've taken my lumps against them, and I've beaten them too. But their style and my style are very different. Mr. Nuke Man. This does not sound right to me. But fuck it, let's do it anyways. Okay. Yeah, that Mizraw is so good. I love it, but it's just so expensive. 8. Sleep grenades, decoys, no. Nocto, strictly necessary. Okay. missing? That's a grade 8 wormhole, or grade 8 riot pistol. That's the extra expense.
Successfully sneak
Besides,
your way into the
I
heart of the
defend,
rival PF's FOB, and you can capture staff from them. I'll be looking forward to meeting the new recruits, boss.
I have friends or supporters in other units, so if I were part of XOF Cobra, you know, I'd be going against my own teammates, and I don't like that concept. It doesn't work for me. But that's me personally, you know. Everybody has their own business for this game, and that's one of my things. I'm just not comfortable with going against teammates. It's not going to be no traces. Yes, it worked! I didn't know if that was going to work or not.
CP, this is Zulu 4. Seeing smoke. Possible enemy attack. Over. This is CP. Understood. Titan security.
MGO2R? Is that the Save MGO people and their business? Is that what you're talking about? Because if it is, I don't. No, I don't. I don't play on my PS3 very often anymore. And I got that game out of my system a long time ago. So, while it's great that they were able to get it to work, I've moved on from that game. I mean, that's one game that I think Konami should have kept alive for a while. Because this current version of MGO is garbage. They had a great thing in the original Metal Gear Online for PS2, and they took away from it some in MGO2 and added some good things to it in MGO2, but MGO3, they threw it all out the window, and it's a bloody mess in every way. Oh shit, really? Motherfucker.
Infiltration failed. Are you hurt? Try a little harder next time.
She's a bloody mess. Look at her. I'm not going to blame you for that. That's on me. Keep talking and playing at the same time. It would have been nice to have solved that, though. Having killed him and then ghosted his base. That would have been nice. Alas, it was not to be. Look at my resources first. I don't even know what my numbers are. But yeah, I mean, I gave it a fair chance for MGO3, and it was nothing like the other MGO games were. I was very disappointed in how that turned out. So, going back to those old games, I'll say this: MGO2 had some fantastic music. There were tracks on that game that were just out of this world. I have saved copies of all the music that I recorded with my video capture device way back when. I did it before the servers closed, and the music is great. I mean, that is one of the best things about that game, was that the music was really, you know, had a bunch of selections from the Metal Gear universe. Had Snatcher, it had Zone of the Enders, it had everything you could think of. And they had the original Peace Walker theme music that plays during Battle 2 against Peace Walker at the naval base.
You can capture staff from them.
Awesome in every way.
Meeting the new recruits, boss.
But again, those servers for that game closed in 2012. And while, like I said, while I appreciate the fact that Save MGO was able to get it to work, it's on a system that I don't play anymore. I don't use my PlayStation 3. Yeah. That's memories right there. Outer Outlet. I want a white beret on that map. I have a channel, an old channel called MGO Forever, that had all the maps from Metal Gear Online 1. And basically what I did was I walked through the map, recording as I went, and then I saved it and uploaded it to YouTube. Well, for MGO2, I did the same thing, and I used different music each time. Outer Outlet. Thunderbolt Cafe. Good times.
CP, this is Delta 6. I'm seeing smoke. There may be enemies in the area. Over.
Yeah, I had a white beret
This is CP. Understood.
for my main female character. She had all the skills maxed out, and she had a white beret. Whereas my main male account had a purple beanie. I was never able to get a white beret or beanie on that account. But I had a fourth account. Because I had a total of 5 accounts on that game. And my fourth account was a female. She also had a white beret. And my secondary account only had a red beret, which was the most expensive item they had. So you earn points through events, and you trade them in for pieces of gear and everything else. And that red beret was 50,000
All
points.
units, special alert. Defend your position.
So for a long time, not a lot of people had them. And I did for that account. So they had different camos, they had novelty items, they had all kinds of goodies. And they threw it out the window by closing down the servers.
Stay on the alert. Out.
It was probably
Infiltration successful.
the most social game I've ever played. You could set up like a training room and people could come in and run around and it was a lot of fun. You know, I had a lot of fun with that. My favorite gear was basically the squares camo in this game. It was called Splitter back then. And I'd wear body armor, my white beret, a splitter handkerchief, and the shoes and knee pads that the Rat Patrol used. They had those available. And my female character would rock that shit. Fucking awesome. Could play that game all day dressed like that. So, I mean, it would be nice to go back to that. But again, it's on the PS3, which I don't, you know, like I said, I hardly use anymore. I only use it for mother base coins at this point. I still have my PlayStation 3 version of Grand Theft Auto, which is completely maxed out. I'm not going to get rid of that for any reason. That was a lot of work, and I have no intention of getting rid of it just for that. I played Grand Theft Auto Online for a little while. I didn't get very far. It just didn't do anything for me. It was more complex than I thought it was going to be. So, and of course they've bolted on so much stuff from that, you know, over time that it's just become indistinguishable from what it used to be. Ponytail girls.
Successfully sneak your way into the heart of the rival PF's FOB, and you can capture staff from them. I'll be looking forward to meeting the new recruits, boss.
Be careful down there, boss.
Of course, at the end of
All units, special
how are you, Jay?
defend your position.
Good to see you, buddy. Towards the end of MGO2, Konami made the decision to unlock all of the item options for everybody. And that was a bit of a shock because there were some things out there that only tournament winners could wear, and then everybody's wearing it. And some people got a little ticked off about that. Or you would have had to spend a lot of points to earn those particular items, you know. And I had a bunch of friends on that game that I played with regularly. On this channel, I have my old MGO2 videos. You know, I didn't have a lot of success, but I had my own play style and I was comfortable with it, and it was wonderful. And you could take pictures with the camera, the in-game camera, and then save them to your PlayStation's hard drive, so you have visual records of some of your exploits or whatever. I met a friend of mine offline. She played MGO2, and I had pictures of her as her dressed as her character. That she was happy to receive when I sent them to her one day. So, like I said, that game was very social. You get to know people and kind of mess it up, don't you? That's a server issue, Leo.
All units, special alert. Defend your position. Out.
That's not something customer service is going to help you with. You can try, but I don't expect you to get any results out of that. The amount of victories I have is different than what shows up at the end of the mission. So, the numbers aren't going to be right. Just go with it. So, okay, to illustrate, my current listing of victories is at 15,100. When I hit the core door, it's not going to say 15,100. It's going to say less than that. Watch.
Infiltration successful.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Okay, let's fix that individual. Okay. Go to our log. Okay, so I have 14,892 successful victories. Okay. And if you look at my victory total, it's different. $15,101. So you're going to get that discrepancy over time. Why that is, I don't know, but that's how it is, Leo. So that's not something you call customer service about. They're not going to fix that for you. Okay. Sorry, Assassin, you're done for today. I don't need that. And that bothers me so much. You can do R&D until the cows come home, and it doesn't update like all the other ones do. Oh. Harder. No. I've done enough killing for today. Ancient legend. One extra camera. Well, let's try it and see. But again, going back to resource usage, okay, the non-lethal sniper rifle I'm carrying, grade 5, not the grade 7, like most people do. The reason that is that I can replenish my resources easier on support than I can with medical. I did that on purpose, for that specific purpose.
Sneak your way into the heart of the rival PF's FOB, and you can capture staff from them. I'll be looking forward to meeting the new recruits, boss.
And when you really think about it, you're shooting people in the face. Okay, you don't need anything fancy for that, in my opinion.
Be careful down there, boss.
So I stuck with the grade 5. Now, if the grade 9, 10, or 11 had extra ammo, I'd think about it. But it doesn't. So it's a waste of time. Okay, well, you're gonna leave it open? Fine, be that way. I do it that way because one time I actually had to escape a sniper by dropping down. It was faster than holding onto the rail and shimmying across. Maybe it was luck, but that drop down and hang method has always worked for me that way. So I'm good to go. Plus, I like to have my rifle look like an SVD. Homage to MGO1. In the latter stages of that game, that was all I used. Let's do the SVD. And walking.
All units, special alert.
Okay, that works.
Out.
Ha! Take that, buddy. Ooh, yeah! What? Be a phantom. Not just a ghoster, but a phantom. A figment of their imaginations. They thought they heard footsteps. They look around, they don't see nothing. That's my ultimate goal. And it just goes to shit. Really? You know what?
Don't move.
All units.
Where are your
Special
friends?
alert. Defend your positions. Out.
I should set him on fire. For messing up my room. These low-grade soldiers take forever to get rid of the stoned aspect of business. That's what I call getting caught in the sleep gas. Looks like you're stoned. Not that I know anything about being stoned is. Just messes with your
All
vision.
units. Special alert. Defend your positions. Out.
Come on. You people. Extra 1,000 points.
Infiltration successful.
You complete that first objective where you neutralize 5 soldiers. That's an extra set of points for you. When I started this morning, Alexander was 34th. He's now 2 spots ahead of me. I don't really understand why someone would want to boost that kind of number. I can understand farming vehicles and staff, trading staff and everything else. I can understand that part. But espionage score? It's not something you can really fake, you know? I mean, I've seen Memo's videos, I've seen Phalandrianos and his innate ability to crack a base wide open. You know, they document their business, you know? And they're good at it. Gus does the same thing, okay? But they document what they're doing. And this guy, you know, doesn't. Yeah, I'm gonna drop a spot because of Alexander Crispy. He's gonna drop me down a spot. I don't really care. You know, those of us that are at the high end of the scale know what it takes to jump places in the list. Okay. And Alexander, like I said, started this morning 34th. He's now 28th. and that just does, you know, there's a numerical issue there.
Be careful down there, boss.
Significant numerical issue there. There's no way to explain how or why you can jump that many places in one day, in several hours. Okay. Now, one time last year, I finished first in our time for that time block of 2 weeks. I did over 500 successful infiltrations, and I have a I have a screenshot to prove it. Okay, and that was in 2 weeks, and I was going hard and chasing unit levels and all that. So, you know, putting in the work is something people noticed about me. Yeah, I did. That is a lot. I'll clearly admit that that was a lot of work that week, that 2 weeks. But again, doing it the way that I do, you know, I was earning volunteers at an accelerated rate. So. So, to have Alexander jump several spots in the list this way is suspicious, to say the least. You know what? I'm going to try this. So at 5 minutes per run times 500, it's a lot of hours. And I didn't do high level bases the entire time. So you can imagine, you know, my placement in the rankings and everything else. But since Alexander was in the top, he was 34th. Okay, to jump to 28th in one day, yeah, that's something hinky going on there. That doesn't compute. I mean, you guys have seen me stream high-level bases. You know, I have results out there for the world to see. But I do it fair and square. Take a seat.
All fire teams, this is CP. UAV's picked up a man in trouble. Nearest unit, go investigate.
Infiltration successful.
So his numbers are all wrong. From my vantage point anyways. And since I support some high level people, you know, if he was doing it legit, he'd come across some of the people that I support. You know, and you don't get it right every time. You do leave wormholes. And since I don't see him in my list so far, you know, there's some issues there. I mean, there was a time I did only yes. That's for tanks. But to do that side op, there's a problem with that in that the driver of the tank will push out staff they can and will push out staff if they have if you don't have a waiting room. I learned that the hard way. I did one of the side ops in Africa, and every tank that I extracted was forcing out one S plus intel member, because that was the unit that I had one open space in. So it would kick out S plus staff members. So I stopped farming tanks. If you want to farm tanks without staff penalty, use mission 30, Skullface. There's 3 tanks, and you can extract them, hit a checkpoint, and then they get saved to Mother Base. That's your best way of doing tanks. Collect walker gears in mission 16, so you can have Raiden and the stealth camo if you have them. Run to where the walker gears are, collect them, hit a checkpoint, abort. So you start in free roam, select the mission, collect the walker gears, hit a checkpoint, and abort. And you keep doing that over and over again. And the more walker gears you have, the better your PF score will be. Because walker gears have extra points for your PF score. So getting back to resources, the grade 10 riot pistol, I've mentioned this before. The costs that your deployment cost of 8,000 common metal and 1,000 Tarragon are covered by the rewards in combat bases.
Successfully sneak your way into the heart of the rival PF's FOV, and you can capture staff from them. I'll be looking forward to
Yes,
meeting
Leo,
the
that's the one I'm
recruits,
talking about,
boss.
Skullface. So start in free roam and select the mission. It'll kick you into the helicopter, which there's no way to fix that. And then you land and you run through the base, preferably with stealth camo. If you have the gray fox suit, that works. If you have an athlete, that works. If you have Venom, which you do, that works too. But your best bet is to use the Raiden suit. And you can run through the base, collect 3 tanks, hit a checkpoint, and then abort. And do it all over again. And you keep doing that until you have at least 1,000. If you have 1,000 tanks, you'll be good to go. And that information was given to me by a guy who's figured out a lot of the math behind how PF scores are calculated. So I consider him an expert in PF scores, and that's what he gave. That's the information he gave me, because I asked him one day, I go, how do I increase my rank? So he said, collect all, your anti-air guns, these things, collect 1,000 of those. Collect walker gears, collect mortars, collect machine guns, collect tanks, fighting vehicles, I mean, if you want to do mission 9, back up, back down 100 times, you can get, what is that? $11? $1,100 vehicles spaced out among all the different types, and that's if you complete every task. So do mission 9 100 times, and you'll have pretty good selection of vehicles to use.
Infiltration failed. Are you hurt? Try a little harder next time.
No, nonsense. Okay, I'm gonna do one more mission, and then I'm gonna knock off for the night. I have to get my stuff ready to go to work tomorrow. So let's see what we can dig up. But Leo, like I said, focus on Walker Gears first. Of any mission that has Walker Gears in it, collect 1,000 of them, and you'll be good to go. That's a good place to start from. So collect Walker Gears until you have 1,000. Well, mission 9 is good for vehicles. It doesn't have Walker Gears in it. You can do mission 16. Okay. Yeah, base development. Okay. Snake. I don't like this suit either. It doesn't look right to me, so I'm not going to use it. And since we're using nope, that's not the right one. That's the one I want to use. Let's go big. All the way. Ultra bombs. Yeah, and that's ugly. Something a little more class. Let's see what we can do here, especially knowing that the base owner is notified automatically, but he doesn't get a wormhole back to me. So, and I don't use balloons either, so.
Successfully sneak your way into the heart of the rival PF's FOB, and you can capture staff from them. I'll be looking forward to meeting the new recruits, boss.
I don't know. I have to see how other people play it first. I'm generally not inclined to get that game, but we'll see. I'm not ruling anything out.
Delta 9, what's wrong? Come in, Delta 9!
Get nasty in here. That was pretty good. How you like it now, buddy? Huh? How you like it now? I'm going to hell for this. I got 9 minutes. They've already killed me once, so just doing it really differently this time. Keep going until the servers kick me out. 100. Shot him in the ass. Don't sub, I'm at 100%. I've developed everything there is. I have everything unlocked and all that good stuff, so. Because I enjoy it.
Keep your guard up and spy them. Out.
I earn points, espionage points. I got one more trick to use. We're going all out, baby, all out. That's it. Game over. I just unique this base. Quote unquote. I think maybe a machine gun would have made it better. No, it's not mother base. This is a base in security challenge. This guy is essentially given up the game to put his base on security challenge, and anybody can attack him in any way they choose. I just happen to kill all his staff. I'm gonna need to farm White Mamba for a while to get off this blood. Well, not anymore. So that's the nature of security challenge.
successful.
Okie dokie. That will do it for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed that. So go back to work tomorrow. Tomorrow night, most likely, I'll be doing that command platform FOB school. So if you have trouble on command bases, this will be my way of teaching. After that, I'll do an FOB school with low grade weapons for brand new players, and then after that it'll be normal stuff. So check back in after 5 p.m. Pacific. That's when I'll be on. So you guys have a good night. Happy New Year, and I'll see you when I see you. Take care. Have a good one. Okay, hold on one second. Not too bad. Thanks, Leo. Have a good night, Ashley. It took me several days to get 100%. A couple weeks. But I had already done 100% on PS3. Or 94% on PS3. So I got about 3,200 hours in this game on PS4. So alright, that'll be it for now. You guys have a good one.